are not allowed to speak on behalf of the buyout or anything about his contract just because of the legal issues. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. You did mention that you would be able to talk to me a little bit about the firing process. What exactly happened when you found out that you were wanting to move forward with a new coach?
You know, there wasn't any specific event or specific thing. We've had a lot of good things in our program that people don't realize. You know, our academics is at an all-time high with our hockey program. The character of our student athletes, they're great ambassadors. But you look at the totality of the program, and you know, we have been very close a couple times in the last few years to getting over the hump, and we just weren't able to sustain it for whatever reason. And you just look at the totality. You know, we look at three things here in all our sports, and that's competitive success, academic success, and first-class behavior of our student athletes. Those are the three things, and we just hadn't made it to the level of competitive success we want our student athletes to be able to enjoy.
I'm not sure how much you'll be able to talk to me about it. I did a little bit of research, and I found out that he is the top paid employee in the athletics department here at UAA. However, he is the least paid hockey coach in the entire conference. Moving forward, do you expect to see a figure for your next hockey coach to be somewhere around that where we're at right now, or do you expect to be competitive with other schools in the conference?
You know, we'll be more competitive with the new conference we're going into. No, I'm not benchmarking what other people decide to do and pay. We have a department of more than 40 employees around here, and we're kind of all in the same boat. I suspect our new hockey coach base salary will still make that person the highest paid person in the department, but in addition, there's opportunities for bonuses, which if they were earned would make the salary competitive. So we're not going to reinvent the wheel on salary structure because we got where we are for a reason, and we still are. Physical responsibility is an important value to us here too. But coaching talent is a commodity, and the market does set the price in a lot of cases. So we have some flexibility. I don't think salary will keep us from getting the person we want. At this point, I don't. We'll have to see.
I guess the timing was kind of coincidental, but Denver's coach got fired, Gwostecki, I believe, and obviously he's making definitely a higher pay grade. So I won't get into that or anything, but he had the opportunity to actually have a press conference after he was fired. Is that something that you would like to implement going forward with the future coaches if they were to get fired?
And well, we don't control what. It's still America. If coach wants to call a press conference, that's their business. We don't. When we have to make a coaching change in any sport, our focus is on our student athletes and getting somebody in charge and having leadership of the program in place. These are not, these are unpleasant situations, and none of us enjoy them. And it goes with the territory. I can't comment on what Denver did or why. There's no relation between UAA and Denver over how we do things. I mean, for starters, they're a private school, and we're a public school, so there's a lot of different rules in play right there. But you know, our coaches are free to speak with the press whenever they want to.
But do you believe that there should be some sort of organized structure for what happens when a firing occurs? Because from our end, we received a 2-sentence press release, and kind of cryptic, kind of, you know, not understanding why, which makes us question. So do you think that going forward you guys would want to have a structured way of dealing with firings?
You know, we do have a structure, and we have rules that we follow, but it's very flexible because situations are different. When there's a million reasons why coaches leave or why coaches in universities decide to part ways. The priority for us is protecting the dignity of our coaches and the image of our university. we're pretty open book about what we do. The press release may have been short, but it got to the point. And this is not something we celebrate or anybody enjoys. So we try to use good judgment as the situation dictates.
Okay. Hold on one second. I just like to make sure. Usually mid-interview, nothing has changed. We're good. Okay.
Sure.
Alrighty. Moving on from that, I noticed that UAA doesn't necessarily have a youth program in the summer or some sort of camp that you guys are actually able to generate money from. And I noticed schools, Denver, for example, UAF has a hockey program or a summer program for kids where they're able to pay money, learn from the coaches, learn from players, and ultimately that money would go back into the pot to generate revenue for the university, payroll, things like that nature. What, are you guys planning on implementing something like that?
We have in the past, and it was pretty large at one point, and then it changed structures, and then it went away. That's market forces. I think it's likely that the new coach will want to do that for a number of reasons. There's just an awful lot to consider, and it's no secret we're in a bind on facilities. It's going to get a little better with one building being built, but we need better facilities for our hockey program, and we're going to try to get those. But it'd be a great way for the new coach to become part of our community and get to know people, particularly within the hockey community. And I've always felt like, if we don't provide leadership as far as summer camps and things, then the state's not going to have leadership. And certainly that will be looked at and evaluated. And if it makes sense, I'm sure we'll return to that business.
Moving on to the stadium increases and also, I guess the new structure for your all stadiums. You guys have the Alaska Airlines Center now, the arena.
Well, not yet, but we will in August of 14.
Absolutely, absolutely. Can you talk to me about what the thought process was of being able to have that as a basketball arena and volleyball and a multi-sport arena, but not hockey? How come it's not a hockey arena?
Well, yeah, I can tell you the thought process on that. We have 13 sports. Of those 13, the best facility for any sport is the Sullivan Arena. We initially submitted a design that was 2 venues and 1 roof, which included hockey. That was nixed somewhere in the process, and it was a simple matter of we could solve 12 of our sports problems with 1 building or 1 with the ice arena. So the arena became priority 1 and the ice arena would be priority 2. It's not any more complicated than that. It's where you can meet your needs. Having our own ice arena on campus is something our chancellor's indicated he would support, our vice chancellor has. I certainly believe that we need it and think it'll come in the future. There was some talk of playing basketball and hockey in the same arena, and that was just a terrible idea. The few places where they do that, it does not work well, and in both cases, the basketball teams and the hockey teams practice somewhere else other than when they play. And you can't have people sharing a facility when they're going to work every day, and it's costing $14,000, $16,000 to convert the building. And our plan was to get this arena built and continue pushing and lobbying for an ice arena on campus. And quite frankly, we need a recreation center too. We have a lot of needs, and they've been not addressed for 40-something years, and you can't fix everything at once. So in a very real sense, it was we wanted to get something, and it worked out where we got support for this building with its capabilities, but it certainly doesn't mean we don't know we need better hockey facilities, because we do.
And I was going to ask, do you find it to be counterintuitive that you guys are providing for the 12 sports likely making up the lower income portion of your athletic department, whereas you have the number one paid employee in your athletics department being the hockey coach, but not receiving a better facility.
No, I don't think it's counterintuitive at all. We're not. This is not pro sports. We don't make money. And none of our sports make money. But the music department doesn't either. We're a university. And we also have federal laws we have to follow, not the least of which is Title IX, which it doesn't allow you to favor one sport over another. You know, there's about 20 universities that make money in athletics in this country, and every one of them has a 100,000 seat football stadium. In most Division I and all Division II, it's not about making money because the numbers just don't work. It's about having a quality program serve the needs of the community and the students. And while Sullivan Arena is not great, they have a place to play. They've never been ignored, and I certainly have never ignored hockey or any of our other sports. We're charged with providing service to all of them. Yeah, are hockey and basketball more popular than the others with the fans? Sure they are. But that doesn't make our skiers and our gymnasts or our track teams any less important or valuable to us.
Now, moving on to the Sullivan Arena, do you guys take precedence in renovating that arena off campus, or do you prefer having your own hockey facility on campus, as in an arena on campus?
We would very much prefer having our own arena on campus by a lot. We have a good relationship with the Sullivan Arena. We've had to shoot out there for years. It's been home to our hockey program. But they've been, the city and the state, I'm not sure all the things, the background. I know there's some things in the work now to do some renovation. But it wasn't too many years ago we couldn't get the roof leak fixed. So they've been a little slow in putting money into that facility, particularly for this town where there is no substitute. There's no other place to go if there's a problem, and so they need to do a better job keeping up with the maintenance and the renovation. And I think something will happen in the near future, but it wouldn't change our goal to still want our own on-campus arena regardless what they do there.
Now, obviously that wouldn't happen for a couple of years, at the least, maybe even more than that. But moving on to the guys that play at the Sullivan Arena, you want to have fan support there off campus. Do students get in for free to those kind of games, and do they pay to park at those kind of games?
The answer is they get free tickets, but they pay an athletic fee.
Absolutely.
And so that covers that. So it amounts to a great deal, but I don't want to be deceptive. We have a limited number, first come, first serve, free parking for our students. And lately they've been using them and know about them. But it's just another example. Having your students drive across town, it'd be a whole lot better if they get up out of the dorms and walk over to the game. But yes, our students get free tickets, and there's limited free parking available.
I guess getting onto it, we talked a little bit about the arena not being able to have the ice arena there. But you think about the Aces play at the Sullivan, and also you have the Great Alaskan Shootout, which is basketball, and they make it work. Is that not something that you guys were willing to look at while creating this arena, was just to have one sheet of court or
Oh, we looked at
ground?
it. We looked at it very thoroughly. It was just a terrible idea and wouldn't have worked for us. It wouldn't have worked for hockey, and it wouldn't have worked for basketball. It would have been an absolute disaster.
But why?
Well, it cost about $14,000 to convert from ice to basketball. Hockey and basketball need the thing every day.
But what if they have this Wells Fargo Sports Complex, the facility here, to practice on?
Well, that's not a very good answer, because you're practicing on something that's different where you play.
How so?
Well, you want to practice where you play if at all possible. That's one of the problems we have now with our program. We practice here and we play on a completely different sheet of ice at the Sullivan Arena. We get to use it some. We make it work with the shootout because we are the anchor tenant and we get priority, and the Aces know they have to be out of town that week. Just like we tell the WCHA, our hockey team's got to be out of town that week. We don't have it. making it work for one weekend and making it work over the length of a season, two different animals. It does not work well, and I've challenged people who say that it does to simply go find me a place where it does. And people cite Denver, and I can tell you a long list of problems, not the least of which is conversion problems, which killing them. And as recently as our last season of the year, we had to wait and play on Sunday because they were hosting a basketball. It just doesn't work, and it was a poor solution. And I wasn't going to let the university make that kind of mistake on my watch.
Now, North Dakota has one of the finest hockey facilities in the entire country, and
one of
the finest,
I would say that, yeah,
the finest hockey facilities in the country. And you know, you talk about attendance where it goes from 3,000 to 4,000 to 11,000 every night. Do you think, obviously, that's where you guys are wanting to head, but you can't head there with the Sullivan Arena? Do you guys find yourselves kind of trapped with the arena that you're playing in right now?
You know, we don't give that much thought because there's no options. Period. We don't have any options, and that's one of the things, one of the driving forces behind wanting our own rink on campus. We want options, we want control, and we want to practice where we play and develop some tradition. You know, the rink at North Dakota, it's unbelievable, but they've also been visionary at North Dakota, and they have built facilities so they're not sharing. There's no basketball competition at that arena, just like there won't be at ours when we're able to get it built. It takes facilities to be successful in athletics. It's one of the things we've had to overcome here. This arena being built is the first athletic facility that's ever been spent at this school. The building we're sitting in was a rec center for a community college. Our gymnasts rent space across town. Our ski team rent space from Alyeska. We rent space at the Dome. This building, this arena is not an end for us. Hopefully it's a beginning. And when people see the effect it has on our campus, on our programs, and our communities, hopefully it won't be such a struggle next time when we explain the value of having your own facilities, and not only to the school and to our program, but to our community. It's time for it.
Yeah, instead of paying $250 here, $250 there to rent out a hill at Alyeska or whatever, you know, you can just put down a lump sum. And I know it's probably more than $250, but you know, just for comparison reasons and everything.
Well, it's just not greedy or ambitious to want your own facilities. Now, if you want something like North Dakota has, that's probably a little greedy and ambitious. That came about a funny way, but we want simple, decent, quality facilities that the university can be proud of.
Now, moving forward to this year's shootout, are you guys planning on playing that? Well, actually, it would be next year's shootout. Would you be planning on playing that in this arena or the Sullivan?
13, of course, will be at the Sullivan. It's looking like now on 14, we may very well play it on campus. It's not official yet, and there's a lot of moving parts to that, but I'm reasonably sure at this point we will be moving the shootout to the Alaska Airlines Center.
I guess moving outside of that, are there any other sports, or do you find that there are any other deficiencies in any of the other sports on campus? Do you believe you guys are where you're striving to be with each and every sport?
Well, I think the record's pretty clear on how our sports are doing. Do we have obstacles to overcome? We sure do. We use every square inch of this building and then some, and we rent facilities everywhere, and it's cramped. Yeah, each of our sports has some unique challenges, but we're trying to overcome them one at a time. This arena, the Alaska Airlines Center, is going to help a lot. Getting a nice arena on campus will help a lot. Having some quality recreation facilities will help a lot. But I mean, we've got offices, we've got coaches sharing 90 square feet. We have 2 coaches trying to work in 90 square feet. And it's a challenge recruiting, it's a challenge in hiring coaches, it's a challenge day to day just to execute the things we have to execute. It's a pretty dynamic, active program here. some people tend to think, we just wait till 7 o'clock and go drop a puck or throw up a basketball. It's a little harder to pull off than that. You got 13 teams. I know not long ago we had our gymnast in Michigan, our runners in California, our indoor track team in Birmingham, our hockey team was in Michigan, and our basketball teams were in Lacey, Washington, all at the same time. And that's a lot of meals, lodging, and airplane and people to get moved. So it is a challenge, and having quality facilities and places to work will help that.
Now, you did mention recruiting a little bit. I know recruiting has been a struggle at UAA for hockey, especially with the Alaska players. They either play at UAF, they go down to the lower 48, they go to a comp team and play at the junior level. How are you planning on, because you're only kind of fixing half the problem with the coach, or in not the facilities, you're only fixing the problem with the coach. So how do you plan to, do you really believe that there's going to be a change, even though you're only fixing half the problem?
Well, I can tell you that the answer is our new coach will have to have a strategy to do that. Getting a quality ice arena where our local players would like to aspire to play is going to help recruiting. Our coaches are going to become better recruiters instantly. We've already seen it with the Alaska Airlines Center. We're getting people higher up our list and they're committing sooner. It's just one of the factors. And not only do we not have the ice arena, we've got the Sullivan Arena, which has been neglected on its maintenance. So that being said, though, we've had coaches here be very successful recruiting Alaskans without facilities. So it's not a deal breaker, but it'll make it easier for sure. The challenge with hockey is they leave so young, 14, 15 years old. They're out the door and out to juniors. And I understand there'll always be some that want to go away to college. I was certainly one of those people, so I'm not a hypocrite. But we haven't signed enough. We should get our share, because there's some that would like to stay. But we're going to have to demonstrate you got a quality place to play and you got a chance to have success. And we haven't done that. And so a facility having success and it's plain old-fashioned hard work will be part of the solution to that problem if we're to solve it. There's just not a magic bullet.
So I guess the last question for me, do you believe that the coaching hire moving forward, the coaching hire would be a guy coming from this area that knows the players pretty well, that knows how to recruit in Alaska, or do you think that you take a guy that might be a D1 assistant or a D2 or?
I have no idea. I don't have a crystal ball. We don't put too many parameters. When you're looking for the best available, that's really what we're looking for, the best available. It wouldn't matter to me if they lived down the street or on Mars, to be truthful with you. Certainly, a local person would have some advantages in the interviewing process and some other things, but there's also people from outside that would have experiences that local people weren't able to get. So we just don't restrict it that way. We don't restrict it when we recruit either. We always recruit Alaska first, but after we recruit Alaska, the only parameters we have is do they have the academic talent to be successful, and are they have the athletic ability to be successful. And if they're in New Zealand, then they're in New Zealand. If they're in Mississippi, they're in Mississippi. Our department generally is made up of about a third Alaskans, a third people from the Pacific Northwest and West, and then a third from the rest of the globe. So we just don't restrict ourselves by having a parameter ahead of time. We'll take everybody who's interested, and then we'll evaluate them all, and strengths and weaknesses, certainly where they've been and what they've done, will matter on that. So, but I just don't know. Every search is different.
Is there anything else you'd like to add into the interview?
Just people ask our fans in the community, be a little bit patient. We're gonna expedite this process, but we're gonna make sure we get the right person.
I guess one last thing I wanted to ask you. I noticed in the ADN article that the coach prior to Shyiak had issues with the athletic department, and I didn't know if that was centered toward anybody or what issues he had toward the athletic department for his reason on leaving?
You know, you'll have to ask him about that. It's Coach John Hill. He left of his own accord. He stated some reasons, not all of them. I never had a conversation with him particularly about it. I wouldn't want to speak for him, but he's still available. I'm sure he would talk to you.